air conditioning that needs to be in place. And so that's the latest information on this project. The staff houses, as it is that the contract had abandoned the site, so therefore the contract was terminated, and there's a new process of re-tendering for staff housing. But unfortunately, it now comes at a time when the finances may not be fully available, unless I'm advised that the funding is still available. Thank you.
I guess we have been referred to an officer who deals with projects, right? I think it may be time to get him on the to get him to explain a few things around project. And because you're talking about terminated projects, you're talking about the retentions and the state of major projects generally.
Che, hongwe pele ha o mo ikantsha o ta intshwarela ne ke no tile ha ke tsore e tudile ya on issue ene le ya old buildings se tsone tsa dipatela gore ha le sample la akanya gore le ka dira eng mme maphata a mangwe a governmente ba na le gone gore ba thoka dikago tse gore ba ka di dirisa. Are you amenable to gore le ka ba handle that old building refurbished as it is or not refurbished as it is, or bone gongwe ba ka kgona go e tena go e refurbisha? I'm looking at a situation whereby Maung Old Hospital, for example, can be turned into a primary school to decongest the primary school.
I suppose we could look at all the proposals and be guided as to whether they can be turned. So far, I'm not aware that any government ministry has made a proposal to use them to anything.
So,
ke dumela ya le gore ba ba ka nna le kgatlhego ba ka ba approacha mme ebile gape ke dumela gore le rona as ma-parliamente around the country we can still initiate that kgatlhego.
Hey, ra gore se ka ga nna hela andre that is why go the interest ya rona ya go di heleletsa go di maintain ka re ga enne kalo but ha gona le bona le kgatlhego kana se kgatlhego hela gore even some rentals may be paid there, so that would make optimal use of the facility. When we work on to deal the projects, I guess it's time to get them to explain a few things. It's already the project. There are projects that have been terminated, one. Number two, there are projects where there are retentions. There are also abandoned projects, or there are also delayed projects. Maybe it's time for you to just take us through these projects. And we will then have to have you take oath so that you help us with the project. Stand up, sir, and you can choose to use the Bible or affirmation. Okay, thank you very much. Are you using the Bible, sir? Are you using the Bible? Okay, all right. It's in Tatar. Yes, we
I,
your name, swear by Almighty God, that the evidence I shall give before this Committee of Parliament shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Yeah. ke tsaya gore o tule tshwetso gore re batla eng. Santa, take us through projects that have been terminated. You may not mention all of them, but the high value ones really, we are interested in just getting your story, right? And then secondly, there are retentions on some projects. We want to know how long you'll be retaining such. Because you still have retentions on them. And then on other projects, they have been delayed, but they are major projects. Maybe just to explain what total needed dealing with in those major projects. And where possible, you can mention time and cost overruns. We'll be happy to hear from you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you like a project terminated.
Yes, sir.
Kita set some examples.
Yes, please.
Project we had staff houses which was constructed to be constructed along with the clinic. So the project, the contractor constructing staff houses was terminated owing to some poor performance and abandonment of site. So we have started the procurement for engaging an alternative contractor. So currently the tender is still at adjudication stage. So upon engagement of the contractor, the final account will be prepared, which determines the cost owed as a result of delay. So unfortunately, owing to the financial strait, the ministry determined that the projects that had not started to date would not progress because we currently have projects on site that we are unable to honor the obligation of pay because of the financial situation that currently persists. Projects under retention. We have projects under...
Project terminated.
Terminated.
Is that the only one?
Another project terminated is Boroti staff houses, yes. We are constructing staff houses in Boroti. Initial contractor was terminated, again owing to underperformance. And we engaged a new contractor who has completed them as we speak. The houses are now under the deferred liability code. So we managed to complete those ones at Boroti village.
Thank you.
I think those are the two examples I can cite for now. 40-minute projects.
Yeah, we can proceed.
Can proceed. Thank you.
Honorable Mtawazani.
Termination implication. Ako talk to that. What are the implications who terminate the contract in the middle and what are the cost implications there? Maybe and talk to these amounts. You're not the same project in Uguakayon. The approved estimate was 4,386,127, and your actual expenditure is 1,827,964. But when it comes to the total spend to date, it shows 11,067,785. Page 66. Can you talk to that? What explicit?
Oh, sorry to read. What you're showing here is what was warranted for that year. If you could tell us what was the original contract sum, and what are the implications there?
What was the original contract sum, and what are the cost implications of retendering and using a different contract?
Thank you, Mutla Stilo. To be honest, I don't have the figures on top of my head, but the implications are real, molestilo. Because the project is time-bound, in most cases, when the project is terminated, the cost of completion also increases. That means the final value of the works done and paid by the previous contractor and the amount paid by the completion contract, when they are added together, they in most cases exceed the initial value. And the procedure is that we have to bill the initial contractor to lay the costs for completion of the work. That is contractual. The implications, of course, are more financial because ordinarily the project delayed with time, the material cost is escalating. Of course, the delay in provision of service.
Yeah, delay also is in relation to the provision of service and the opportunity cost associated with the delay.
Okay, I think in the Canada, this is just the report, yeah, projects again. But how can we work a contract some? We need to have a column where supangore project cost that thing kibukai. The warranted kibukana. It doesn't give us a picture of what are we trying to reconcile here.
Kaya prepare according to the guidelines. You're supposed to show what was warranted and for that year, and provide additional information, original contract sum. Okay, buka.
Yes.
What is the amount to date? How long the cost overruns in Elebukan? Time overruns in Elebukan. That's what says in the guidelines.
You know, we have examined many people. There's a difference. They are so in touch with this project. How about a project? They have all the detail. Must follow guideline. Me when finally detail or contract somebody lebukana with the restobukana. You know, I see something peculiar with this ministry that okay, in touch. Earlier on, I used the word intimate. They're not intimate with the detail of what they are doing. This is quite very worrying to me. How we have a project or the other project that you talked about. No, your director projects should be able to tell us driver we tell that level of intimacy, of detail, I think is lucky.
I think, Chairman, that speaks to preparations. I think, with due respect, some of the officers here, prepare. It's like a PAC examination, and high Lord is a project of that type. Lack of preparation at all. And this borders on disrespect to PAC. Because as a technical, should not be telling you what you are supposed to do. Really. So, Chairman the officer, this committee seriously. And we are going to do this job together with you and other ministries for the next 5 years. So let's start on a good foot.
Memo with director projects. kana o ka somarela kgotsa wa latha madi a setšhaba. So me a re tsweleleng pele.
Let's get it from the accounting officer. How often do you meet your subordinates to get to know progress? This unit seven.
Well, it depends on the units, but we do meet regularly. The projects we haven't really met recently, except for as we were preparing to come. But generally, we actually follow, because we also used to have to account on the progress. So we had regular updates. In fact, when I looked at this, I had asked that we needed a column of the total warranted. So that's why I actually thought that it would have been added, because I had asked for it.
Do you give yourself time to look at the reports and see how they can be helpful in your operation?
Yeah.
Now you can see how disappointing the reports are. Were you aware of these challenges that some of your officers are facing?
That's what I said, that we had agreed that column of the total warranted was going to be added, at least not in this, because it was already submitted, but I thought in his report. So
I'll maybe propose that you meet them quite often, even on quarterly basis, to assess their work, so that you are not disappointed when you come here.
Yes, we have committed that from here we will meet quarterly to deal with these issues.
Now we have this book, yeah. It's us, a PAC, the PAC report. Oh, it's on.
I don't have it here.
Where's the PAC report?
60th.
A.
Can you?
This PAC report, if you go to Roman 2, it's got all the submission guidelines. The technically it's all written here, or this is how they're supposed to present. No, that's how they're responding to the memo. This is the memo.
Are you familiar with this book? Have you seen it before?
Yes.
Linalion? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, or argument about finance again. Arba easy, not a so Arba easy, so our really much for it. Retention. We're talking about termination retention.
Sorry, Che.
Yeah.
Me, what are we saying? Ka kanye eriwe or totaroto kana lego with the contracts. It would not be wise for us to leave it that way. But we need such a report. We have to know or what are we examining. It's like hari di recipe.
I think maybe we should ask them to give us.
To bring, yes, proper contract, project.
Total project.
Resubmit
The contract
resubmission on this one.
Resubmission on this one.
Any projects.
Emma, we will do that.
Yeah.
We'll resubmit a comprehensive report.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we start to see it's already you are not going to grab our report. The hell I see more PC. This is to take na ucheka. Are we adhering to what we have? Procured. Again. Yeah.
Okay, retentions. Okay.
From 72. Oh.
this one. The project under retention, with Lastilo, yes, it is evident there are a number of projects that have been overdue for retention. Some of the projects are because the contractors did not show up for redoing of retention. In most cases, those are maintenance projects, minor maintenance projects. So basically, what requires to be done is to engage an alternative contractor to do the works. But given the time that is elapsed, it becomes appropriate to request to take them to the retention figure to the consolidated fund, because even when you have to do the maintenance on the same project, it will be as good as undertaking a new project, especially for maintenance projects.
So
yes, sir. Well, it will remain with the government.
Unclaimed after 5 years is also what to the consolidated fund.
Yes.
What is the time frame?
5 years.
After 5 years, the money should be returned
to the consolidated fund.
Okay. So, for our I lorana le bakanyana. Hasore la buse nerenali right to ha ne bargena ma khanezo. Khanetsam. Armadi hayo. Kura pa ka bonwa kura buele ko letuli. Delayed projects?
Delayed projects, most of the projects that are delayed